Imagine this. You leave everything behind, your home, your team, your comfort, all for a new beginning. You sign a $180 million deal thinking you're the guy. But just weeks later, your new team turns around and drafts your replacement without even calling you. Betrayal, confusion, silence. What would you do? Something big just shook the NFL, and no one saw it coming. A major move behind closed doors. A quiet betrayal that now has everyone talking, fans, insiders, even players. It's the kind of decision that doesn't just affect one man. It could change the whole direction of a franchise. Let's break this down, because the deeper you go, the more wild it gets. Kirk Cousins, a veteran quarterback, fresh off a season-ending Achilles injury, thought he finally found a new home in Atlanta. After years of one-year deals in Minnesota, he finally got what every player dreams of: security. The Falcons handed him a 4-year deal worth $180 million, with $100 million guaranteed. A true commitment. The kind that makes a guy feel like the face of the franchise. He signed the deal, packed his family, moved his life to Atlanta. Everything seemed perfect, until it wasn't. Because just 2 months later, the Atlanta Falcons walked onto that draft stage with the number 8 overall pick, and shocked everyone. They didn't draft a defensive monster. They didn't grab an elite receiver to help Kirk shine. They didn't even call him before it happened. They drafted a quarterback, Michael Penix Jr. Boom. Just like that, the silence broke. And the trust? Gone. Can you imagine that feeling? You just moved across the country, signed the biggest deal of your career, and now your new team drafts your replacement before you've even taken your first snap. No warning. No heads up. And here's the part that hits hard. Cousins found out with the rest of us. Watching the draft. Sitting in his new home. That's when it all started to unravel. In Netflix's latest season of Quarterback, we finally get to see what really happened, the raw emotion, the real Cousins. Usually cool and calm, this time he let his guard down. He said it straight. I wasn't expecting us to take a quarterback. It felt like I'd been misled. If I had known this during free agency, it would have changed everything. Read that again. That's not a light comment. That's a dagger. That's a man saying he might have never left Minnesota, if the Falcons had just been honest. Now, let's stop and think. Cousins loved Minnesota. He had no reason to leave, except they weren't offering him a long-term deal. They wanted to go year by year after his injury. The Falcons, though, they offered him a fresh start, a future, a promise. But what did they do with that promise? Drafted the next guy. Behind his back. Still, Cousins stayed professional. Publicly, he said the right things. But in that Netflix episode, the real truth came out. If both teams were going to draft quarterbacks high, I had no reason to leave Minnesota. He wasn't just chasing money. He was chasing truth. He wanted a team that believed in him, not just for one season, but for a journey. And now? That journey feels like it started with a lie. Now, I want to hear from you. Was Kirk Cousins betrayed by the Falcons? Do you still trust Atlanta's front office after this move? Drop your thoughts in the comments and rate your confidence in this team on a scale from 1 to 10. Let's talk about it, because this story is just getting started. Just when you thought the drama was only about the quarterbacks, think again. What's happening on defense could be even more explosive. Position battles, new faces, veteran pride on the line. The Falcons aren't just building a team. They're building a war zone this training camp. Things are getting serious in Atlanta, and not just because of Kirk Cousins or Michael Penix Jr. The real fire might be on the defensive side of the ball. With training camp set to begin on July 23rd, every snap, every drill, every rep will matter. This is not just another summer. This is a battlefield where starting jobs are on the line. Let's start with safety, because the spotlight is hot there. No question about Jesse Bates III. He's a lock. He's everything the Falcons hoped for when they gave him that $64 million deal. In fact, ESPN ranked him the fourth best safety in the NFL for the second year in a row. He's not just consistent, he's dangerous. Last season, he was the only player in the league with 4 interceptions and 4 forced fumbles. A true ball hawk and a leader. But the real question? Who's lining up next to him? That battle is Jordan Fuller versus Xavier Watts, and it's heating up fast. Fuller is the veteran, signed on a short 1-year deal worth $1.2 million. He's dependable. He's smart. He knows Raheem Morris's system from their time together with the Rams. He's played 57 games since 2020, and coaches know what they'll get from him: calm, control, experience. But then comes the wild card, Xavier Watts. The rookie out of Notre Dame is pure electricity. He grabbed 6 interceptions last year, and get this, he didn't allow a single touchdown all season. He still needs to work on tackling, sure, but his instincts, his range, and his ability to make plays? That's something you can't coach. He might not win the job right away, but don't be surprised if he takes it midseason. Next up, let's talk linebacker, and this might be the closest battle of all. On one side, you have Divine Deablo, a quiet free agent signing. No big headlines, no major expectations. But guess what? He's dominating in camp. So much so that Coach Raheem Morris is thinking about giving him the green dot, the helmet that signals he's the on-field leader of the defense. That's no small thing. That's trust. But across from him, Troy Anderson, the fast, physical linebacker who once had fans dreaming of a breakout season. Remember Week 4? 16 tackles. 1 pick 6. He showed what he could be, but injuries have kept him off the field. Just 26 games played in 3 years. This camp might be his last shot to take back his spot. And now, the defensive line, where things are intense. Outside of David Onyemata, no one's guaranteed a starting job. This battle is raw, physical, and personal. Rookie Rook Orhorhoro, the 35th overall pick out of Clemson, is going head-to-head with veteran Morgan Fox. Fox is dependable, 120 games, 34 starts. He's done the job before. He's a grinder, always around the ball. But Rook? The Falcons traded up to get this guy. That means something. Even though he missed time early last season and got banged up again in Week 8, when he played, he showed flashes. Explosive first step. Raw strength. If he stays healthy, he could be the long-term answer to replace the great Grady Jarrett. So here we are, Falcons fans. We're staring down one of the most dramatic training camps in years. A quarterback room full of tension. A defense with open jobs and hungry players. A coaching staff that has big decisions to make fast. And right at the center of it all is the Michael Penix Jr. pick, a move that still casts a long shadow. This wasn't just about having a backup for Cousins. This was about the future of the franchise, whether Cousins likes it or not. Penix is no ordinary rookie. At Washington, he was a dynamic, elite passer, and many experts think he could become a true star. The Falcons used the #8 overall pick on him, before Cousins even took a snap. That sends a clear message. This team isn't just thinking about today. They're betting big on tomorrow. Yes, Cousins might feel betrayed. Yes, he might have stayed in Minnesota if he knew this was coming. But the Falcons? They've lived in quarterback limbo since Matt Ryan left. They've had no direction, no plan, until now. Right or wrong, this was their move. So what do you think? Did the Falcons front office make a smart long-term bet with Penix Jr.? Or did they fumble the trust of their new franchise quarterback before he even stepped on the field? And those defensive battles, who do you want to see starting at safety, linebacker, and along the line? Drop your thoughts below, your takes, your lineup picks, and your confidence rating in this Falcons roster from 1 to 10. Let's hear it, Atlanta. The future is now, and it's anything but quiet. One draft pick, one quarterback, and now every throw, every snap, every mistake could change everything. Kirk Cousins isn't just fighting to win games, he's fighting to keep his job. And the pressure? It's coming from inside the building. The Falcons didn't draft Michael Penix Jr. by accident. They saw something rare, a shot to land a potential franchise quarterback, and they took it. From the front office's view, this was about the future. A future that could be mentored by Kirk Cousins, or maybe replace him sooner than anyone expected. And that's where the tension lives now. It's not just about competition anymore, it's personal. Every time Cousins steps on the field, the eyes aren't just on the scoreboard. They're watching him, closely, waiting. Because whether he likes it or not, Penix is standing right behind him, hungry, talented, and already being groomed. Make no mistake, if this team starts slow, those whispers about replacing Cousins, they won't just come from sports shows or fans online. They'll come from inside the locker room. That's the kind of tension that can either break a team or sharpen it into something powerful. And it's not just about quarterbacks. Head coach Raheem Morris is in the middle of it all. This is his moment, his return to Atlanta, his chance to prove he can lead not just a team, but a transition from confusion to contention. To do that, he has to manage the pressure, guide a divided roster, and let competition fuel growth, not cause fractures. Luckily, Morris has a reputation, a real one. He's known as a player's coach, a motivator, a guy who understands personalities, reads the room, and brings out the best in vets and rookies alike. But he'll need every ounce of that skill now. Because these battles? They're more than just camp drills. Fuller versus Watts, that's a battle for the future of the Falcons secondary. Debo versus Anderson, that's a war for control of the linebacker core. Or Herrera versus Fox, it's veteran experience versus rookie potential. One is fighting to prove he still belongs. The other is trying to take the torch. These aren't just players trying to start week one. They're players fighting to be part of this franchise's foundation for years to come. And when you throw the quarterback drama on top of that, the stakes explode. Because this training camp, it's not just about getting ready for a season. It could decide the direction of the Falcons for the next 5 years. This is the turning point. So now it's your turn, Falcons fans. Was drafting Michael Penix Jr. the right move, or a betrayal of Cousins? Which defensive players do you think will rise up and become leaders this year? Who wins those battles? And who doesn't make the cut? Tell us in the comments. Predict your Week 1 starters. Call your surprise breakout or cut. This is your team. This is your voice. Let's get loud, because this story is only just beginning.